We're approaching the end of 2023, so it's a good time to look back at the year that's just been. An optimist might say it's not really gone to plan, although a realist might say it's been an absolute disaster and a year to forget for Destiny 2. Well, today I'm going to try and cover all the major beats for Destiny 2 in 2023 as we go into a review. Well, it's been a hectic 12 months, more so than other years I think, and we're going into 2024 with a very long season ahead of us, given the final shape's delay, but I'll get into that later. Let's dive back in time, like the Vex, and look at 2023 in review for Destiny 2. Well, let's start out with Lightfall. So that seems quite a long time ago now, all the way back in February 2023. We just come out of a pretty good season, the season of the Seraph, and that was the end of the story for the Warmind. And to be honest, one of Destiny 2's best narrative seasons yet. There were some positives from Lightfall. The gameplay was good, Strand felt good, and there was a good variety of encounters in the campaign. The initial cutscenes of the campaign were pretty good as well. The Witness felt dangerous. We had an Avengers Endgame feel to seeing Zavala, Mara, and all the gang on the ship looking out into space at the Traveller. The Traveller attacking the Pyramid Fleet, that was good. That huge static ball that's been in our skies for all those years. Seeing the Traveller go out to meet the Witness and the Pyramid Fleet, it was really, really good. It was interesting to see the Traveller go on the offensive. However, that is where the positives end for me when it comes to Lightfall. Everything was just really condensed. We didn't really have time to build up an emotional connection with the Cloud Striders, and Rohan's death fell very flat. Tonally, Nimbus didn't feel like a well-written character. They seemed to get over Rohan's death far too quickly. And then we've got the Veil. We're told early on about the Veil, but we're not really told what it is, what it does, or why it's important. Bungie then spent the last 12 months explaining what the Veil is. I still don't think many people know what it is or what it does or why it's in the game. Then we had references to a radial mast, and the Veil is connected to the Black Heart from the back garden, tying it all back to Destiny 1. And the story and the writing felt like Destiny 1. It was confused, and it really felt like the story had been written quickly. So post-campaign, we had a really confusing statement with Zavala and Ikora saying the Traveller are gone. Even though you could look out, it's still there. The Witness cut a hole in it and went into that portal. Lightfall's campaign just felt like a disparate set of ideas that were barely held together with a very thin campaign. Too much emphasis on Strand, not enough story development with the Witness and Callus. By far the best moments of the campaign were the Witness and Callus was just a pawn used by the Witness. In itself, that was pretty disappointing. So Strand, by comparison, was a positive. It came into the game in a much better state than Stasis, with Bungie spending much of the year following the Beyond Light expansion, fixing Destiny 2 and driving many top PvP players away in the process. Well, Strand was different. It gave us the grapple, and season over season we've had weapons and aspects and fragments added to really bring Strand to life. So while the story surrounding Strand was weak, we literally found it in an alleyway on Neptune, well, the gameplay was really, really good. Well, next up, let's have a look at seasons throughout the years. So seasons following Lightfall have been mixed, I would say. Season of Defiance released alongside Lightfall and didn't really keep me engaged. Season of the Deep introduced fishing, plus a lackluster dungeon, but a very good exotic mission, and also the voice work from Xivu Arath was absolutely fantastic. Season of the Witch stepped things up a notch with Eris taking centre stage with Savathun, and then we have Season of the Wish, which we are still in now. Ultimately, we're trying to figure out how to get into the pale heart of the Traveller and follow the Witness so we can finish the fight. Well, the Veil weekly story missions tried to right the wrongs of the Lightfall campaign, but the slow drip-feed story beats, they've just simply become tired. The seasonal model is showing its age, with weekly story missions keeping us engaged for about an hour each week, but hopping all over the place, speaking to seasonal NPCs, doing the seasonal activity, going back to speak to another NPC, then a terminal, and then the activity again. We are rich in activities in Destiny 2, but we're just tired of the gameplay loop. The gameplay is still top quality from Bungie, so the seasonal model just needs shaking up a little bit, and the core playlist needs some love as we've been playing the same strikes and PvP maps for nearly 10 years. So overall, I would say the first two seasons of Lightfall were a letdown, but Witch and Wish have got things back up there to a decent level. However, Wish is going to have to sustain us for a little while longer yet due to the final shape delay. Well, next up, let's have a look at the showcase. So this took place in August 2023. At the time, it seemed to be well received, but shortly after, there was a backlash with less fans than normal pre-ordering copies of the final shape. Normally, the showcase would be the place where Bungie would really bring the hype. This year, it just felt flat. And they talked about the final shape, Season of the Witch at the time, plus also the next step for Destiny 2 story, episodes. So they've heard the feedback about the seasonal model being a bit tired, and they're introducing episodes. Essentially, rather than 4 seasons, we're going to get 3 episodes, and they should be more standalone, so you can jump in at any time. And this is almost buying us time as Bungie look to introduce a new saga following the end of the Light and Darkness saga, and that ends with the final shape. Well, next up we got the crafting, and this was one of the highlights from 2023 in Destiny 2 for me, even though it was a bug. But to be honest, this was the mother of all bugs. So word started to spread on the 15th of September, and Cheese Forever put out a video. It started with exotic weapons, specifically Dead Messenger, and you could take the exotic Trinary Vision trait and place it on the legendary weapons. Then things ramped up a notch when players figured out how to apply an aggressive shotgun frame to auto rifles, and that would essentially dish out shotgun levels of damage on an auto rifle rate of fire weapon, and you could just simply breeze through any content. Once word got out in the Destiny 2 community, people were finding really damage-inducing combinations. Grandmaster Nightfalls were a breeze, the recently added Crota's End raid was being beaten in record time, and Guardians were absolutely melting Crota at the end in double quick time, and Crota came out to much fanfare of being really difficult. Trials went live around a similar time. Now, many people have been looking forward to Trials that weekend because it was a return of the Igneous Hammer. However, Guardians soon realised, this was going to be much more fun, and everyone waited with bated breath to see what Bungie would do. Bungie then confirmed there would be no rollback, which meant you could keep all of your loot. For example, many people have been farming GMs that weekend and got double rolls of the Warden's Law, so it was really good, plus also the exotic mission as well. And the fact that it wasn't going to be rolled back mean we get to keep everything, so the crafting for me was definitely a plus in 2023. Well, next up we got the layoffs and the missed revenue targets. So in October, Bungie laid off 8% of their staff. As well as the layoffs, Jason Schreier also confirmed the final shape had been delayed from February 2024 to June 2024, although that wouldn't be confirmed until the end of November. According to another report from Jason Schreier, revenue was down 45% against projections for the year, and Bungie's CEO put the poor performance down to poor player retention following a lackluster major expansion in Lightfall and the less than expected pre-orders for the final shape. There's also the final expansion of the Light vs. Darkness saga. So Bungie staff were told player sentiment is at an all-time low that had been flagged to leadership in the months leading up to the layoffs. And also the player numbers are at an all-time low with an average player count of about 32,000 over the last 30 days, although that has seen a little bit of a bump with the release of Season of the Wish, compared to a high in March of 135,000 players. So things have been on steady decline since the start of the year, and especially since the release of Lightfall. Well, finally, to round things off, on November the 27th, we got the confirmation of the final shape delay. And Bungie said, hey everyone, we're going to keep it short and simple. The final shape needs more time to become exactly what we want it to be, so we're moving its release date to June the 4th, 2024. The final shape is the culmination of the first 10 years of Destiny storytelling, and for Guardians everywhere, countless hours spent together. We want to honour that journey, so we're taking the time we need to deliver an even bigger and bolder vision, one that we hope will be remembered and treasured for years to come. Naturally, this change brings up questions about our upcoming release calendar. Season of the Wish begins tomorrow and will extend until the launch of the final shape in June. And while the majority of the content and the narrative for Season of the Wish will run from late November to February as originally planned, the team is adding new content available for all players to jump into until the launch of the final shape. In February, we're going to include new weekly progression-based quests called Wishes, and the launch of Moments of Triumph with unique rewards. We're moving Guardian games up to March with a refreshed focus on class versus class competition. And then in April, we're delivering a 2-month content update available to everyone called Destiny 2 Into the Light. That is going to prepare players for their Guardian's journey into the Traveller. All of this is in addition to the ongoing efforts from our PvP strike team, including 3 new PvP maps dropping in May. We know you're eager to get your hands on the final shape, and in that sense delays aren't fun, but for our part we're excited to have the extra time needed to bring our vision for the final shape to life for all of you. We look forward to sharing much more in April, including all new gameplay to showcase these significant content additions currently in development. Well, it's definitely been a year of ups and downs in Destiny 2. Ups, the gameplay, some good seasons and some good exotic quests. Downs, well, pretty much everything else, especially the player count and the player sentiment. Although saying that, personally I'm optimistic about the future of Destiny 2. A delayed final shape means Bungie want to nail it. They've been in this position before with their backs against the wall. The interesting thing will be watching Sony in 2024 and how much goodwill they'll extend to Bungie. If the final shape bangs, then the future could be bright. If the final shape flops and we have lackluster episodes, things could be very, very different indeed. Bungie with their backs against the wall tend to perform well and do pull one out of the bag, but this time it is a very tall order. However, I am definitely rooting for Bungie and look forward to what 2024 brings in and outside the game. Well, finally, I'd like to wish you a very happy new year as we say goodbye to 2023 and ahead to 2024. Thank you for watching everything this year. I've got plenty more planned for 2024 and I look forward to that journey with you all. So happy new year and wishing you a very successful 2024 and beyond. Well, let me know what you think down there in the comments. And that is it today for this look at Destiny 2 in 2023 for the year in review. As always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. It would really help me out, and hit that like button too. Thanks again, and I'll see you in 2024.